This is Michael Laine of the Copenhagen Voice at a meeting presenting something called the Ethnic Minority Women's Council, EMKR is a Danish abbreviation. With me is Filomenita Mongaya who is a board member of EMKR. Filomenita, can you explain a little bit about the council and what it does?
Yes, the EMKR, or Ethnic Minority Council in Denmark, is an umbrella as well as a network, as well as a lobby entity, actually, because our aim is to make sure that ethnic women are on the same footing, are on equal footing with everybody in Danish society, whether they are Danish women or Danish men or immigrant men. So we have a big job to do, but this is the result of many, many years of, I would say, failed integration. Because it seems to me in Denmark, when people talk about integration, they actually mean the other thing, which is to forget about who you are and just be Danish all of a sudden. That doesn't happen. And that's why we would like to be intact as cultural beings of where we come from and so on. And when we meet Danish society on equal footing, we should be able to figure out a way of also attaining rights like everybody else.
So you're looking at rights, but are there problems which ethnic women in particular, also ethnic men and ethnic children, face?
Oh, definitely. The fact is, Denmark has always been homogeneous as a society. And the presence of people from other cultures and other parts of the world, although not seen as a negative entirely, has always been seen as a kind of a project that should be solved. In other words, a problematization. We come with a lot of resources, we come with a lot of highly educated people, also women, with a lot of experience, you know, and we're not being used in Danish society. We're looked at as a problem, and this is what we would like to deal with, among others, by tackling the media and also lobbying in political circles and with other NGOs in society, all other factors and places where we can make a dent and change the situation for us.
What would you say are the most important problems facing minorities in Denmark?
There is such a big focus on problems. I mean, when I was starting working as a journalist 20 years ago, the problem was, how do we make these women visible? And later on, lots and lots of kilometers of text, of newspaper articles transpired, but it didn't change the images. It was still the problem with the scarf or all kinds of things that really do not go into the core of who we are. It's an agenda already determined by the press and by the majority society. So we have to change that. We have to change the fact that we are here as citizens as well. Many of us are third generation in Denmark and feel really Danish, but because we look different, then the Danes treat us differently. So there is a big thing that has to be changed there from the attitudes of the majority society.
So you have a lot of PR work to do.
Yes. Luckily, I think each one of us are good at, saying things, and hopefully the media will cooperate and really listen to what we have to say. Because we should not only be seen, we should also be heard.
Were the politicians and others' reactions recently to the meetings for women parents at schools in Copenhagen, were the reactions fair?
You mean the view that there should be no separate meetings? I can understand it from the point of view of a Nordic welfare state that has been sort of priding itself in being very much upfront when it comes to women's rights. But we should also rather have an inspiration from Søren Kierkegaard, a big, big man in Danish literature, who said, you have to reach people where they are. Otherwise, you can't communicate. And in this case, if it takes separate meetings for women so you could really get to listen to them and to get their views, why not? What does it really cost? Then I know that it will pay later on, because as they get more and more secure about how to say things in public and so on, I'm sure they will not object to being in a two-sex meeting, men and women. I'm sure this will come.
So it's a matter of, as it were, educating the minority women on the one side and educating the majority society on the other to work together.
Exactly. It's a two-edged sword, if I can call it that. No, it doesn't have to be like bloody, like a sword. But it is the case that there are two parts. When you say integrate, you're talking of a whole, but two parts coming together. And this is the point. You cannot simply say, because you're in Denmark, you have to do exactly what the Danes do. This will never lead to anything good. I mean, people might be forced to do it, but they will be resentful. And we don't want that. We want everybody feeling good about the changes that they are entering into.
So the EMKR, is that an umbrella organization?
It is actually a platform. It's an umbrella in the sense that it is open to all kinds of organizations, but it is also open to individuals, actually. So it's many kinds. But one thing is sure, it's long in coming, and I worked in the 80s with an ethnic women organization called Soldu, and at that time we were just one organization, but representing different cultures, and we did already could work, could talk to ministers at that time, really cut short the bureaucracy and went straight. But of course we have another government now, and the right political wing here in Denmark has really, really strengthened itself, so things have changed a bit for the worse in some ways. But yes, we should use this platform and open up to everybody who would like to work on this, whether they are majority, minority, men, women, whatever. Please come on board. We need your help, and we need to help ourselves, and I'm sure we can figure out something.
So the many different nationalities there are in the world represented in Denmark, they have to work together. Can they work together?
I'm pretty sure if you are after a workable society, you know, you have some baggage. Everybody has a baggage, cultural, whatever, religious. But you know that if you have to have a successful, smooth society, there's a give and take. But there are basic things, and those are human rights. You cannot ignore that each individual have basic human rights, and they should not